Welcome on in here to Rustoria Base Invaders, brought to you by Rusty Pot. Today we have EU 5v5s. It's going to be some amazing action today, but it's not the only amazing thing we have. We have another amazing caster here today. Ian, how you doing in the
Hello, my
caster booth?
friend. I'm doing well, thank you. A little bit surprised to be here today. It wasn't the original plan. Flick was supposed to be joining us, but he can't make it today, so you've had to call in a ringer. So I'm pulling double duty today. I'm on camera as well, so if I screw up, it's because of that, okay?
Yeah. Sad that we couldn't have Inflict on, but glad we could have you to fill. But just talking about the event today, we have some different loot pool changes. Kind of 20 times loot pool. To give these players some extra resource gain, get their bases built up a lot faster than usual. Higher guns in the pool, stuff like that. Um, it's pretty huge and gives these players a lot of resources to build their base up. And instead of it taking 10 hours, it'll only take them just about those 30 minutes.
That's right, yeah. So we have just entered the attack phase, which is the first point at which anyone can cause damage to each other. They still can't dodge damage any structures. And there were quite a few people around launch before we went live, which is why I perched myself here. You can see Lake launch here, looking nice and beautiful and clear under the missile. That's not supposed to be there. That's just a graphical glitch. But everybody seems to have disappeared. So what we will do is we'll just go have a quick hunt around the map. So
Yeah, a little bit of a visual glitch, but I like it. I like Lake Rocket. Could be fun for future events. But talking a little bit further, these teams are trying to win here today. There's $100 on the line. Big prize pool, a lot of players coming out to play today, but to get that prize money, they will have to earn some points. So those points will be earned by taking down other players. You'll get 1 point for each kill on another player. There's also these attack helicopters that you see that will be dropped from these teams. Collecting the crates that drop from those will also, I believe, give you 3 points each.
and
And
that's
then,
it down. My God.
yeah, it's already down.
That's going to be
And
heavily
then,
contested. Check out the amount of bases that this has landed in between here. We're right in this spot in the map here, in between all 5 of these, and it's dropped in the middle of these 3 here.
yeah,
That is
that is, it's right in the
risky
middle of the
points.
screen. Yeah, it's going to be tough to walk out and kind of get those, but 3 points will be gained for each crate you grab. Obviously, those fires will take a little bit to expire and get extinguished on them. But also, once this, like you said, we have a first attack phase. You can't really take down anybody else's base. But once those 30 minutes do expire, we will see a lot of rating. If you take down a team, take out their TC, you will get 40 points. So that can really boost you up on the leaderboard. But you also get some points, if you do a successful defense. So that's mostly how these teams are going to be earning those points, and some teams already looking to get it. Placing some walls out is Nurik. We've seen them in the past, and they are putting some walls down. Really want to prioritize these crates. Like you were saying, it's going to be hard to get them here because there are 3 teams on pretty much equal ground looking at this.
Yeah, it looks like it has landed the closest to Pup 6 base, and they have taken advantage by putting 3 members out here, and they've got quite a lot of walls down for defense as well. Nurik, I've just got Straffy, but I'm not quite sure what's happening in that base over there. I think we need to double check whose base that is, because I can see RP and Nurik both in there, unless Roofer's actually just on the side and he's coming around this wall. But yeah, position-wise, advantage to Pup 6 for sure. They've got a good spot to cover it from, but it's going to be real difficult to secure these crates. I think the advantage of this for everybody is that they're probably going to be getting a bunch of PvP points while they're fighting over this.
Those PvP points are huge. Like we said, you get 1 point for each of those kills, and you can really boost yourself up and give yourself that early lead. And you really do need a balance between those PvP points and those TCs, as we've seen. But it's tough. I mean, you see 3 teams. They don't want to push forward because those crates, the fires haven't extinguished yet, so there's no real reward for them to push out just yet. But they're just going to be holding these walls. All 3 teams just trying to play this trench warfare. No one really wants to walk into no man's land here and get shot, but you just have to touch those crates to get those points. So once those fires do expire, I think we're going to see a mad dash to see who can get them.
Yeah, you see Chonk Bonk holding the line solo, it seems, and is actually getting rounded by Drossel and Joker on the flank up the hill a little bit.
Oh,
Joker was not prepared for that, and I'm not really sure why, because there's been someone in this position for quite some time. Drossel's a little bit safer, But now they have reversed this 2v1 situation and it's not looking so safe for them. You can
Yeah.
see Joker has actually respawned in the background here. He's probably looking to come out and support again in a moment.
Hmm. Yeah, Pupsik also has kind of that base really already built pretty well up. I mean, they have those tortilla chip roofs that they have those roof peaks to kind of give their teammates a little bit of an advantage. As you mentioned, Pupsik is the closest to this of these three teams. And even though they do have two men on the ground, so that's the one advantage they now have, trying to fight back against Nurik, who has taken some ground here. Try and get these attack helicopters. The crates start to extinguish on those fires. It looks like Pupsik is really pushing towards them to try and get these points.
Yeah, Boomshot's confident that these are going out shortly and has pushed up. It looks like he's right, I hope, but that's not just our draw distance turning those fires out. But if he has timed this correctly, he's going to be able to just pop in and grab these crates. Take a horse ride to safety. Currently using it as a horse shield. But this is, yeah, they've got the good position on it, but it has been quite a lot of back and forth. Oh, someone from RP is actually sneaking around the back here.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Takes out Drossel and
one.
it's got position. Actually, another member of Nurik came out at the same time as that. I assume Boomshot took him out.
Yeah.
And RP have now taken over this space closer. This is in front of their base.
Yeah, they did a good job of kind of just waiting it out. They won't. It doesn't seem like RP will get any of those crates because it seems like Pupsik already has it locked down. Boom, like you were saying, using that horse, using that helicopter to just use any protection he can to get those extra points. And I mean, even though RP didn't get the crates, they will still get some PvP points. Will still get a wraparound. As it looks like Nurik is kind of pulled back a little bit, more focused on kind of refining their base, making sure it gets all built up, and taking these roof peaks. We mentioned how strong they are, just getting those little windows of view where your enemy really can't see you, but you can fully see them. It's very strong. So the Nurk is the furthest away from that helicopter. So I think they kind of just backed off of it.
I think in the meantime while we've been discussing this, it looks like Boomshot has grabbed those crates and he's out of here, taking the horse, just as I predicted. Just going to point that out. I think he's going to make it out to safety. Yeah, he's off. So that's some nice and easy points for Pupsik. That's popped them back up into second place with those 3 points each for the crates. It looks like they got all of the crates as well. Nurik, like you said, had to pull right back just at the end there, and it was just poor timing. I think they made the right decision to just keep on the roof, finish off the rest of their base. They got a couple of nice kills in a roof exchange with RP. Matty went down during that last moment there. So I think that was probably the best he could make of a bad situation.
Yeah, it's a bad situation, and even though you have all this time here in the attack phase, it really does come down to minutes and seconds, because those decisions that you're making, if you're going out to push for those crates, maybe you're not sending somebody back to kind of defend your base, to build up your base, and then it could be weaker for that raiding phase. So I think it is, like you said, smarter for Nurk. Maybe not the decision they want to make pushing away from that helicopter, but it's the decision they will have to make and kind of just build up, get ready for this raiding phase, which, I mean, we've already had 10 minutes expire in the attack phase. You still got 20 more, so 2/3 of it left, but Upsick, like you were saying, they jump up to that second place, 16 points for them. But I mean, Purple right now is doing really good. It seems like they're getting a lot of PvP points here in this attacking phase, taking an early lead with 26. And we also didn't mention that the team that is at the highest points after that attack phase is over will get a little bit of extra point boost. So it's a little bit of an incentive to kind of keep yourself up on the top of that leaderboard.
That's correct. Now, we will go and have a look and see if we can find Purple in a moment. I just wanted to point out before we left, I was just about to leave there, and I was just looking at the size difference between these two spaces. And Pop 6 isn't as large as, well, as wide, I suppose, as Nurik's, but RP's is looking considerably smaller in comparison, and I am concerned about that on their behalf. It's also got the kind of roof that doesn't, it has zero downward peaks as well. It does have a shooting floor which has downward peaks, so that's less of a concern. But having this kind of like completely joined up roof is not what I'm a fan of at all. You can see Popsic in the distance there as well. They've got gaps through their peaking. It's still not as wide as I would like, you know. There's a lot lacking down this side, but I think this is going to be a large concern for RP going forward into this, especially if Nurik decide to go for them first, which they probably will.
I think it would be an okay base if you didn't have Nurik right next to you, because I mean, It's a decent base, but like you were saying, it's a little bit smaller. They don't have that downward peaks, and they kind of have placed themselves in the middle of these other two teams. That both these two teams, they would rather walk a shorter distance to kind of fight this middle team. And if they see an easier base, like you were mentioning in pregame, that if you see an easy base as one of these experienced players, they are going to be the first target, and they're seeing that. They know this. They're going to know exactly what you're saying, that they don't have those downward peaks, that they don't have all that defense capability, and it's definitely going to be one of those early targets we will have to watch for.
Speaking of really small bases, Llama, what what is this? Something I feel hasn't gone according to plan in this build. If this is planned, then fair enough to you. But it looks like something might have occurred here. Now we actually spied this before we came on broadcast, and I pointed out that they had built their compound wall before they'd actually started building their base, or at least that's what it looked like. The compound wall was certainly finished before most of this was built, and I think what I said was going to happen has happened, and it has hampered their ability to build out.
Yeah.
Because when you're placing compound walls, a compound wall can be placed much closer to a foundation than it can the other way around. It doesn't make sense, but that's Rust, baby. So this, I think, has caused them some real problems. They're also getting harassed to high heaven by Pedicure, who are out here. Look at this battlefield over here.
Yeah, they got all those walls down to try and push up, and it's exactly like you're saying, that they kind of limited themselves in the area they could build, because building that compound wall first, they can't build out. They are forced to kind of deal with the one singular tower they will have, and they're mentioning if you see an easy base, you're going to push out towards it. And Pedicure, they see this base. They see the compound wall is very small, the base is pretty small. It's not even fully upgraded, so they're looking for an easy TC when this raid phase does start. But looks like Pedicure does lose a couple members here. Still a 2v2 on the outside here with Simpura on that. They do also have that high ground, so they have a couple of those players with those peaks, but just gonna be looking around. You know, this base could be easy points for Pedicure, but they have to get up to it. So they have to get more walls and actually get their research up there. It looks like maybe the base might not be good, but the shots will be just down to Ukraine Warriors. It'll be a 1v1 on this outside wall.
That was a new mouse enjoyer who hit that lovely shot there on the Pinky. Didn't even get a chance to finish that peak. And I think you're right. Simpura have mostly dealt with this now. There's a couple of members of Pedicure. They obviously have some bags placement over there because Binky has respawned. Ukraine Warrior is causing some real issues for them, though. Just solo. Now has to deal with two of them pushing out from the base. Let me see if I can pull back to get a decent angle, because he is running for his life.
Yeah,
There's three members coming for him now.
Yeah, no one could kill him. He's just running. He's running around, just getting really good kills. And I mean, you mentioned it before that this they're dealing with it well, but their base is pretty much in shambles, like from from when this raid phase will start. So we'll see if they do continue to try and push this assault, because I mean, Ukraine Warrior, we've seen him in the past. He's a consistent player that does show up, and there you go again, teaming down this other team. No one can kill him.
Yeah, there's now 4 members of Simpura out. Well, there were 4 members of Simpura out here. There's now 2. Mustas has the angle, but it's just gotten double teamed. Excellent play. Good timing on the push. And there's only 1 left. Where is he? Here he is.
And they're playing really well as a team, it seems like, as a lot of those members pushing together, like you're saying. Pedicure, though, looking to try and take out this other member, but Simpura has, again, that high ground. They have those peaks from the height that they can really just beam you down with. So you need to place these walls, give yourself some sort of defense, as it looks like, again, Pedicure take down another. They are just rampaging here through anyone that tries to challenge them.
Yeah, that was very nice. We seem to have lost some of our usernames here, so I'm going to move back to my body just so we can get that reset. I heard the helicopter in for another route here, and that has actually landed in a peculiar place. It's down in N17 mostly on its own, so we'll have a look and see what has occurred. And actually, Popsic and Nurik are here. They've obviously decided they want all the helicopters today. It's just Joker and Chonk Bonk. Excellent name. Thank you for making me say that. Um, on a solo mission here, I think the rest of
Yeah.
their bases are over in this sort of direction here. It looks like it's just the two of them. This is
Yeah, we
interesting.
saw them earlier. With those, like you were mentioning, those. Oh, and Chonk Bonk is going to bonk Joker, and the solo again. Like you said, it's a solo mission. You know, this helicopter is really far out, kind of away from all these bases. So you really do have to make a long trek towards it. So see if you can hold it down. You know, until these fires expire. But getting these double helicopter, like you mentioned, they got the first one, looking to get the second one really jumped them up. Now, Pupsik sitting in second place right now, 27 points. Not too bad at all. Purple, though, 41 points
Yeah.
right now. Already only halfway through the attacking phase. Like, they got to be putting out some massive PvP points, it
They
seems
are
like.
absolutely smashing it. We're gonna have to go on an investigation to see if we can locate them. This has pretty much ended in Nurek's favor here because there was only a one-on-one here. Joker has died and presumably has a spawn that's absolutely nowhere near this. It looks like some of the fire is going out, but I wouldn't necessarily trust that. That might just because of our draw distance on the spectator cam, because some of the rest of it is still lit. So Chonkbonk probably would have gone for the crates if they were ready in that case, and he's still holding. So yes, let us see if we can find Purple, huh? We've got a few more bases up in the north here that we haven't been in, including this incredibly busy area. So let's go have a look and see who we can find. This is Crippy and Psyche.
Yep. Yeah, a
Psyche?
couple teams.
God.
Oh, very large compound wall, unlike some of the other bases we've seen.
Yeah, this looks like it was built afterwards. Now let's
Hmm.
a little sneaky action going on here from a Crippy player.
Hide and go seek with guns.
Immediately spotted by AR, but it was
Yeah.
a valiant attempt nonetheless. There's still an member here who might actually trade him through the gap in the gate if he gets a good angle on it.
Yeah, that could be huge. I mean,
That's what he's going
again,
for. Can we
it's
see?
looking.
Can we see? No, no, we can't.
No. Denied. Not allowed. But yeah, like you said, this area is very busy as we can see on the map. It was
Yeah, let's return.
there's
Have
a
a look at
lot of
that.
teams here. It is going, I mean, it might not be as super compact as we've seen before, but a lot of teams kind of in that U shape. I mean, any team could really become a target, but oh, Santa, the boat.
The
Love
boat
to
is
see it.
back, Llama. I love this space so much. It is the bane of so many people's existence.
Mhm.
It's a sight to
Yeah.
behold. There's an awful lot of fighting going on, which I'm struggling to locate here, but I think we've just located them. We'll have to travel back over in that direction to catch them.
Yeah. And we were talking about points. Nurk, it looks like they did claim those crates, so they'll jump themselves up. Again, they're holding that second place right now. 41 points for right now. It looks like Pupsik also getting some points here, so some decent points spread across the board. Purple looks like they slowed down just a little bit, but still holding down that first place. Again, you get those extra points for holding it down. For that, it's just who is leading at the end of the attacking phase will get a little bit extra points added to their total. So see, you can hold it down. Purple, like we said, just PvP points popping off the charts. But Nurk and Pupsik also doing a really good job to kind of stay with them. And we talked about this before that any team is really still in this. It's just who can get themselves out to a better lead because TCs are worth 40 points, and any team right now that gets a TC once this rating phase starts could really put themselves in a position to take a first, second, third place position.
No, you're right. I was going to say as well, Purple's points total is entirely composed of PvP kills, as far as I'm aware. They may have... There's a possibility they could have taken Bradley or one of the other timed crates that are around the map that also award you additional points. But I think it's likely that that's almost all PvP. So that is a real impressive score to be keeping up with everybody else right now. I would really like to find them, but unfortunately, because we're not in the raiding phase yet, it's quite difficult to locate the fighting, apart from using our ears. And I have just found Chaos and Free TC and a really in danger looking base here. It looks like, judging by the amount of people in it, that this belongs to Chaos, but we'll just confirm that.
Yeah, it's looking like Chaos's base. I would assume.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So, a kind of interesting base. They kind of have a mix of tortilla chips on that roof, but kind of missing it on that one side.
Hmm.
So kind of interesting, but they are getting pestered. And I know we've talked about it, but we'll talk about it again. That just putting pressure on your opponents can be huge from a team because it stops their building. It can get you PvP points, which can get you ahead. And I mean, any time that, I mean, you can see the top of their base just unfinished right now, getting completely murdered by this other team on the outside of their compound. So I think it's rough for them. Like you were saying, this base is not in the best shape. And teams that see an easy base will definitely go for it first. So the bottom is looking strong, but the top is not feeling the same thing.
No, there's a whole lot of twig going on there. And it looks like it extends past the top floor as well. It looks like some of the shooting floor is still down. So it's not good. But they do have, who is this? Dolbayob on the outside here, including Alita, who I believe, thanks to our new stats tool, is one of the, on KD ratio at least, one of the best players in Base
Oh,
Invaders. I believe they're in the
oh,
top 5. So it's not really who you want to have hunting around your twig house 8 minutes before the
no,
raid phase begins.
no. You do not want that. Great on that player. I mean, we have those new stat tools. Amazing, Alita, in that top 5 of the KD. That's crazy. I mean, a lot of these players are very experienced, so to have that really nice KD is that much more impressive. But it's exactly like you're saying. That is not the person you want hanging around the outside of your base, and I mean, scouting, just waiting for this 8 minutes to come down, and then I mean, Alita going down there, but
Unfortunately,
looking
didn't end for
still
him well.
pushing out into two teams, had angles on both sides. Unlucky, but the other members of the team will be pushing out, trying to build these walls, trying to gain some ground. And so it looks like Free TC and not US is going to be on the backside here. So a lot of teams looking towards this first base here, looking towards this chaos base, trying to see if they can get an angle to stop the builds, to put any pressure down they can. And I mean, while we're talking about this, I mean, 3 teams are here, so that means a lot of PvP points spread around.
Yeah, Celestial is making this little spot on the map his own right now. He's
Mhm.
going a little Roman kill here. That's at least 2. I've just seen him. He's going for a 3rd on Yakaruna, and I think he's actually downed him. Has he? Yeah, he has. God damn. Oh. Dream is over, however. That was simultaneous shots from at least 3 different directions here. That's the danger when you're in this kind of area of the map. There's so many people peeking at you from everywhere. An open space like this. If you time that push wrong, that's an absolute death sentence.
Yeah, it's rough, and I did do a little bit of damage at the Dola B team, but once this, I mean, 5 minutes, 6 minutes left here. I think this might be one of our first targets. I think we've seen a few bases that are going to fall pretty early on, but the question is who is going to get them? Because again, it's who takes that TC. It's not just who puts all the work down, all the preparation down. So if you're not careful, a team could come in and swipe that TC from you, or Chaos could, I mean, in these final 6 minutes, maybe get those repairs off, maybe get those builds on up to get that upper part of their house upgraded. But it's looking really dire because they can't leave their house. They're kind of just trapped in right now with 3 other teams kind of just berating them from the outside. So there's nothing really they can do except just sit inside and wait.
Yeah, it's certainly possible that they'll get this finished before the attack phase is finished. However, with this amount of pressure that they've got, because it's not just them, it looks like there's a bunch of vultures circling this carcass right now. So, yeah, like I say, it's possible, but it's really not looking very likely. A lot
Yeah.
more members of Free TC seem to be joining the fight as well. So I would like to see VG, who have just taken the helicopter down. I assume that's what this is here. I noticed on the map when we were popping over there as well that Bradley has also been recently taken, so that'll be an additional point for someone. And it's Popsic once again. Joker. He's obsessed. And VG this time, fighting over the remains of the helicopter, waiting on these crate points.
Yeah, those fires still up and going, but VG looking to get some extra points, bump themselves up. Not even in the top 10 right now, so trying to give themselves a little bit of a burst. Right now, it's looking purple. I mean, we've talked about them all of the attack phase. Their PvP points have been off the charts. 55 of them so far. Like you said, they could have grabbed Bradley or one of the time crates, but and they're just consistently getting points right now. And that's what you have to do. I mean, this is not a sprint, this is a marathon. You have to get points throughout the whole entire event to keep yourselves within a range of winning that prize pool. Now, Pupsic, like you were saying, has gone to try and get a lot of those helicopters, has gotten a lot of those PvP points with Joker getting some of those individual kills. But right now, sitting in second, 53 points to their name, not bad at all. Nurek also going to be sitting at 53. So from there, there's a little bit of a gap. So these three teams really showing up right now, showing up in this attack phase. The question will be, can they continue this into the raid phase? Oh, jeez. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it's gonna be rough, and we saw them defend before. It seems like their house may not be the best, but their defense was pretty good last time we saw them. So we'll see if they can repeat that, and they really need to because these points are definitely necessary. If they can get this team off their back, they could possibly have a chance to repair. But already one player of Sampura going down, back to the respawn for you, back to your base with you, as the other two players, three players pushing out to try and get this, but PG, the angles that they have right now are really good. Just putting that crossfire down, having three different players at three different angles as Sampura kind of just locked into one. It will send the other player around. Four players coming out now to try and get it. The horse to bring the fifth, and VG in a member disadvantage here. They will lose their first. One will trade back, but the firefight will continue down to a 3v2 as VG, these veteran players are going to run. There is only down to one left, and he will die. It looks like, oh man, friendly fire. Yeah. Yeah. He it's such a good angle. I mean, he may not be up with his team, but providing that cover fire, and because Sampura is on a hill, so like they think they have the high ground, but this player just pestering them, putting down a lot of shots, and Sampura will push VG back, but it was a really good attempt from VG, and they still have two players here, so they can still do a little bit of damage, but Sampura needs to get these crates, needs to get back, repair their base because I mean you may have won the battle, but what about the war? Because your base is not looking the best, and VG could definitely choose you as their first target of the day. Mhm. Yeah, it's an interesting mission. They're gonna send it away, and the mission. Oh no, plane down, plane down. Oh. I don't think so. And there are a lot of teams up here we've mentioned before, and I think it is going to start to get bloody very soon. 15 seconds until our rating phase. And just to remind everyone, if you're just tuning in now, this is Rustoria Base Invaders. 5 mans here today. EU. We will have NA a little bit later, but as this attack phase expires, we will be going into our rating phase. An hour and 30 minutes of time will be put on the clock here, and right immediately, it's already gone. The TC's Yeah, there's gonna be fights all around the map, but exactly like you were saying, Purple, they do get those early points. Getting a lot of those early kills will net them some extra points, bumping them up to 77. So holding down first right now, but they will have to get some TCs as some other teams are following close on their tail. And I mean, we've seen this U up here. We've seen how many teams are up here. It is going to get definitely bloody, definitely a lot of action up here. But again, those TCs are worth 40 points. So getting one can really put you back into the game. Any team that really gets 1 or 2 TCs really jump themselves up into the top 5, top 3 position where they want to be. Yeah. Yeah. The rocket's going to rain down, trying to blast a hole in their wall, maybe also get their compound down too. But as you were saying, those players on that high ground, one of them losing their life. And these rockets are really good so far to try and puncture a hole, try and get them an entrance into this base. We can see Santa off in the distance, it looks like. And BG is going to be eliminated here by Pupsik. So Pupsik with a pretty strong attack phase, and with that TC, will actually jump themselves up into that first place. So over 100 points, the first team to get there. I assume we will have a lot of other teams getting over that 100-point marker, getting over the 200, maybe even 300-point marker as the day goes along. But an hour and 30 minutes of rating will be what all of these teams have. And I mean, it just looks like right now Snake will be looking to just put some more rockets down, punch a
Yeah,
hole, do what they can.
taking their time with this. They've got a nice little bed and breakfast set up, so it looks like they might be staying a while. But it is slow going. They have made a hole in the external wall, but you can see General, I'm assuming that's what it's supposed to say, is attempting to plug that hole right now, somewhat unsuccessfully. And I think, given the slow nature of this one, we should move on, because there is a lot of explosions happening around me. There's been a couple more
Yeah.
TCs taken out as well. Nurek have caught right up with Pupsik, as you can see on the scoreboard, and that's Flock Boom underneath us, who I think are actually raiding... Yeah, they're raiding Snake, who we just saw out at ice, taking advantage of an empty. And they've made significant damage already.
Yeah, the damage is pretty big. They have blown a hole in that wall. Trying to get further inside, though, and Snake, they will have to send these members back to defend this instead of resuming their attack, and the defense will be good so far, getting 2 of those players of Flock down, but 1 will be traded here. So Snake, you got to be careful here. You got to send some players back to make sure your base does not fall, but it may be too late. The Flock Boom players, one of them already inside here, as he's going to be holding that rifle and trying to get a peek from this high ground to take what he can. But Pupsik and Nurk, like you were saying earlier, they both get a TC to jump themselves up into 1 and 2 respectively. Purple going to fall a little bit behind, but with those extra points, they're still in a decent spot if they got a TC here. But, I mean, Snake, it doesn't look like they've sent all their members back. They just sent a few back, and it looks like they've almost pretty much dealt with it.
I can see 4, looks like all 5 of them are now back, but you're right, it did take them a little while to return, and in the meantime, Pops has been smashing a whole load of doors in here. Still a lot of stuff to go, so unless they get lucky or they had previous knowledge of where the TC was, you know, maybe they spied it during the grace phase. That can happen sometimes if you are not careful when you're placing your TC. But unless that is the case, I feel like it's going to take them a while to get through this because there's a lot of stuff to blow up in Snake's base.
This is a nice base. I do like it. It has a lot of walls, like you were saying, that it could be behind. That it's going to take them a lot of time to either get through or for them to get lucky. And Boom, they're doing a pretty good job actually of just trading these players out. As one of the players will be traded through, Explorer gonna jump up.
Ooh,
The
nice
shots
done.
will come through. And Flock it's looking like they are just going to be down to a down player. They have one player inside that may go for that res, but players of Snake doing a pretty good job at defending this, even though there is a slight hole in their wall.
Yeah, it's slight just now, getting larger all the moment. That was a good defense from Snake. The problem being is that while this has happened, Pops has been left alone to just run havoc through the inside. Look at this.
Yeah.
Finally been found. There you go. And that was the major problem that needs to resolve. Might be a little bit easier on the defense now. Them assuming that they catch him, he's sneaked away, snuck away. He's gone. That's a hell of a hiding place. I don't think anybody's gonna find him. Be very funny if he gets back up. We're not gonna sit here and watch it though. Don't worry. Now,
yeah, and while we were watching that, it looks like one of the teams we had seen earlier on that was one of those targets, Chaos, will be eliminated here. Dolya, I can't say their name right.
That says Dolbayob, I believe, if you were going to pronounce it phonetically.
But yeah, they will take out Chaos. They were targeting them a little bit earlier on, so good on them to get some points. And Purple has kind of slowed down a little bit. They haven't been able to get that TC just yet, getting themselves a little bit more PvP points. Now about 40 points behind that first place team, so they'll definitely want to push further in. But we'll be rotating out here to the snowy lands, and a team with a very big hole in their base.
It sure is. I don't think that's really past the point of a hole. I think.
Yeah.
There's a good third of this missing now. I assume this is Punk, judging by the positioning that we've got here. We'll just float down and confirm, because I made too many assumptions last week and was wrong several times. It is Punk. But that...
I'd say it's a chunk. It's no longer a hole. It's a...
yeah, that's a large gap. There's still a bunch of them here to defend in it, and it doesn't look like wasting time. Have either made it through the gatehouse. It looks like they've just been rocketing from out here the entire time. So once again, we'll move on to some of the rest of these. There's a lot of raiding going on right now. And we see this, I think time might be about to get called on Simpura's cottage.
Yeah. And they're hiding now. They're trying to do as much as they can. It looks like they did not get anything upgraded, and it's like we said early on that this base is going to be really hard to defend. It's going to be an easy target for anyone that does want it. It seems like their defenses have been pretty decent to push out anyone that is pushed up. But at what point, I mean, how many teams here are going to overrun you? Because we see Betalagi, we see VG, we see Pedicure, we see another team that's flying in the helicopter.
Yeah, that was Nurek, I believe, in the helicopter. Yeah.
They're just looking to take this base out. They know it's an easy target. I mean, with other teams here, it's going to be harder, but the first team to breach those compound walls might be the first team to take that TC.
Just considering the amount of teams that are here, I'm reluctant to move elsewhere, because I feel like the second anything starts, that thing's gonna fall like a stack of newspapers. So, especially with Nurek landing, because they've just eliminated pretty much everyone that was pushing from VG. I can see Bleibel and Friendly Fire has now also respawned as well, but that is a scary thing to have landing outside your base. Nurek are in third place right now with 105 points. They've already got one TC that I can recall. Might actually be two. And I think they're looking for another one.
Yeah, the land is really nice for them. It's a scary sight to see them doing that, but they really want to push towards to getting these points. So they will have all 5 members strong. They will be building up these beds. They will have all of these resources to make this push towards this base. And it's exactly like you were saying, this this base is not strong. So any team that gets in there can have a really high chance to get those 40 points and kind of leave. I mean, we know raids on harder bases take a lot longer. So the less time you spend on this base will be the more time you have to raid others. Pupsik Boomshot is going to be on an 8 kill streak here, but Nurik going to be pushing inside. They're going to be the first team up towards this compound wall. We'll see if they can break it open, and we'll see if they can get inside, because it's going to be quick, it seems like, as all 5 players' coordination is the game for them. The compound walls will fall. Simpura now is just, I mean, you got to be scared. It's got to be like the horror of just looking out, seeing everything around you crumble. Yeah. Yep. Get that kill. And it's like you mentioned, Nurik, I mean, the push is okay. They'll get down that compound wall, but a few of their players do fall. As Simpura, it seems like their gunfights have been really good, but I mean, their compound wall is broken. How much more can they defend? Because Nurik is here. They have already got 1 TC. They want to add another to their total. And I mean, the rockets will start to come down, trying to give themselves just a ladder entrance in. And that's maybe all they will need to just find this. So taking some shots, trading some shots at those players onto that high ground. One of the Simpura players trying to push out, but it's rough here for Simpura. They don't have a lot to work with. One of their players will be eliminated here, and the other will jump over those material.
It's getting chased down.
We'll get taken out.
It's Crippy taking out PyQ there. We saw them battling briefly a moment ago.
Yeah.
And all it takes here is for these rockets to start flying.
Block Boom is eliminated.
Oh. Right.
I have to get a confirmation, but I think it must have been a block TC or something. Obviously, the rules state that you must have like a door or a window to access that TC in the room, and if you do block it off, it immediately eliminates your team. So
that's true. It could have been a disqualification. They could also have just been lacking players or something like that. They have to have at least 50% of their team on. So if the people have suffered disconnects or something like that, they could have been eliminated for that reason also. And we see, I'm not saying that, but Despair and the rest of his teammates have gone exploring. Look at this. Some rockets on this side from P. And I think we have located the TC.
There we go.
They suspect that they've located it. Yeah, there we go. That was being hidden by the remains of that metal door there. But that's them now up into 5th place. Llama, I'm going to let you pronounce that.
Oh yeah, that's a good name right there.
Who are yeah, probably off searching for some more TCs. I heard a helicopter up on the roof here, so it looks like they're probably ready to bug out. They'll probably have a quick raid of the remainder of the storage before they move on, and then that base will be gone shortly.
Yeah, I mean, they jumped themselves up into that 5th place. I mean, we have to assume that that small base that we were watching for a while is going to fall soon. But Snake, it looks like, is taking some more damage here onto their base, I believe, as they have been kind of battling back and forth with this ice team, as it seems like the outer compound wall again has been broken through. But they did have that those other guests earlier from Dole Yayo. I can't say it.
Yeah, W were here earlier on. It looks like Ice have come for revenge, because it was Snake that were attempting to raid Ice when they had to return to defend from that W upgrade. Looks like they're dealing with it reasonably well. It's a good position that Ice are coming in from here because they can take advantage of the equal height, remove that angle advantage for them. But it looks like Snake are defeating them in 1v1 fights here. So I think that's pretty comfortably defended for now. Gonna go chase the rest of those
They send out like a memo
boons.
to all these players, like make the hardest team names for the casters to say this
Yes.
week.
Yes, they do. They do it. It's fun. They do it as a joke. It's purposely to screw with us. Now, Ice have actually got their own problems because Santa are in their shooting floor. That's not where you want them to be. The boat boys are here and they mean business.
They want to take you down. They are inside that shooting floor, like you mentioned, trying to push on in. About 15 minutes have already expired here in this raiding phase, so some time has already gone, but you still have a lot of time left. You just got to stay consistent. Again, that marathon of keeping those points up is Santa just shooting anyone that tries to come up, and the coordination, we've talked about it, that teams that work together win together, and that's what they want to do here, is they're just working their way around the shooting floor, making sure they can utilize those downward peaks that are given to them, and they'll be blowing the first hole inside, seeing those beds from this team. And Santa, looks like Ice have sent some members back, but Santa here, I mean, they're coordinated. We talked about it, and they're going to be pushing in together, taking out a couple members of Ice already. Going to be pushing deeper into this base.
Yeah, they're going to regret opening both of those garage doors. I think that's not going to end very well. At least it was only one and they've got the rest of them close behind them, but the rate that Santa's going through this base, it's probably not going to matter. I can't even keep track of this. Every single member is in every corner blowing up doors. Have a quick peek of this one because that is in a little sneaky position, and I suspect my caster intuition is telling me that it's in there. But that's why you don't listen to casters.
Yeah, but it's like you mentioned, like they're all 5 members are putting rockets down, putting C4s down into every part of this base, so they're blowing through it already so quick. This one floor is already almost cleared. Like all of these doors that could have had the TC behind it are already gone, and they're working really well together. They're taking team fights that they can win, and they're getting those reses off. They're still at full strength as the player of Ice will be sniped down, but the turret going to.
Did he get that C4 down, or did you just drop that? Nah, it's just the dropped one. Looked like he was trying to drop that on the turret before it took him out, but it's actually just been dropped on the ground. The C4 that we can hear is further down, and oh my god. Oh my god. They are making Swiss cheese out of this place.
Yeah, and they're going through it quick, and it seems like Ice has pushed back just a little bit, but even then, I mean, Santa has blown through so much. Is it already too late? Because I mean, Ice, they were a little bit slow on the response to get these players back, and Santa, they just climbed up on in. They said this is our territory now, as only really the roof is the only safe position now because they have that turret. We'll see if Santa can get in further and actually get this, because they've kind of been a little bit quiet so far. I mean, they are with the team that is known for that boat base, kind of building it out in away from everyone. So not getting a lot of PvP points in the attacking phase. Definitely need this TC to help them out points wise.
Snake have turned up again in the song of Ice and Snake, which is copyright just before you do anything with it. So yeah, I feel like Ice's days are numbered. I have no more. Yeah. I have no more puns.
The days are going to be winding down here for them, as Santa, I mean, they blew such a big hole through. We saw them pretty much all of the shooting floor. They had more access down too. I mean, they were just so nice with how they just blew up every single door. You were talking about it, that we couldn't even follow the action because all these players were just pushing out. But the Santa players will get eliminated here on the outside. So Snake doing a really good job to kind of eliminate this enemy team.
Ooh.
Ice may that may help them out just as much as they can to try and get those repairs off.
That really looked like that kind of ended up in Ice's favor there. Snake caught Santa on their respawn, trying to make it back in to get to their gear, but they were still naked when they caught them. So that's a bunch of them probably on a longer timer than they were before. But I think, like you say, that has mostly helped out Ice.
Yeah. Ace will be in a decent, not in the best position. Obviously, they do have a semi-large hole throughout their base, but I mean, one player of Santa left inside is all it seems like they will have to deal with. And
Yeah.
one player of Santa can take out your whole base, but like you said, those players of Santa getting caught on the re-engage will be forced to head back for a longer walk, and we'll see what they do. But we will switch on over to another base. Looking here, it is
What's
one of
left of
our
it, yeah.
small boy bases.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like at one point it was a lot larger than
Yeah.
this. But this is... I don't really know... I feel like they really should have found it by now, surely. That's somebody trying to rocket that turret, but I'm pretty sure that turret is off, so don't know what they're doing there. I can hear C4 around the other side here from wasting time. And I gotta say, they must be close to the TC at this point, because there's just not really anywhere left. They've got a little
Yeah.
corridor full of doors in here that still doesn't look like it's been touched too much, and we do have a member of wasted time in here checking it out. This is
Yeah,
looking
they're
like a
just looking
likely
around.
spot.
Yeah, a couple doors here. That's pretty much all they have left. Blowing it open, and it looks like free TC is going to get one of those TCs here. Not is going to be eliminated, but yeah, like you were mentioning, this base was a little bit bigger. It maybe cut back on those donuts, drop some of that weight off, and just a few doors left. That's all the TC could really be in. You got to assume.
There's
And
nobody coming
it
back
looks
to do
like
this door.
they're just leaving it.
Okay. I mean, they are dealing with what it sounds like punks PvP and outside, so that seems to have
Yep.
slowed this down. I can't believe they're still doing this. Like, and it's not a criticism of their process or anything like that, because look how much of this place they've destroyed.
Yeah.
It's barely standing, and they still haven't found the TC. So well done to Punk. Base might not have been that big, but it has certainly stood the test of time. It's not in any of these doors either. My God.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about a little bit earlier that it sometimes does come down to just that luck factor. That even though the base may be a little bit smaller or whatever, if I mean, if you don't find the single right door, you could be looking through the entire base, as it looks like wasting time. Will be true to their name and wasting a lot of time on this base right here.
Not quite sure what the point of blowing that wall was either. I think they're just, at this point, probably just going, fuck it, let's foundation wipe this place, because... Oh no! Nice timing from Nerm. He was so patient with that I didn't even realise that wasn't his teammate, like...
Right. Patience.
was-
Aim. We'll get that one player down.
Gets replied pretty much straight away, but that was good play. Well done.
That was great. And there's
Oh,
there
and
we
we've
go.
just missed it, so it was in here.
Wow.
That's actually
Crazy good,
in...
though.
Is that in the core? They put it in the core! Oh my God! That never happens. That's, yeah, well done. That was a supreme effort by Punk, unfortunately now eliminated, but that was pretty good.
Yeah, the base was, like you were saying, a little bit interesting, but I mean those surprises, having that TC in the core, not usually standard. So wasting time, will use a lot of their time to get that raid off, but it will be successful, and they will jump themselves up into that 9th place position. Now I'd like to mention something. Purple, they were in first place at the end of that attack phase, and it seems like they have really slowed down. It's been 25 minutes. They've only gone up about 20 points, I would say, and they haven't got any TCs. So they're honestly in danger of dropping out of the top 10 right now. And even though one TC would jump them back in, I think it's a pretty interesting storyline seeing them kind of all out, maybe not stay as consistent. Maybe they were on the defense or something like that.
Yeah, I suspect we haven't actually seen much of them since the raiding phase has started, so I think you are probably right there. I suspect maybe they're stuck on a defend and haven't had an opportunity to do much with it. But yeah, that is quite the difference from the attack phase until now. We've managed to locate the leader's Pupsic, who were making this push onto Bedalagi, and there was a nice attempt at a backdoor on Pupsic's point position rather, while they're making that push, but they've dealt with it pretty successfully, and they've still got all their bed spawns as well.
Right. Yeah, they got some beds set up, and they really want to push towards these points. Now we talked about it again. If you're just coming in now, obviously the points are pretty interesting. I mean, these teams want points. They want to get up on the top of that leaderboard to get themselves that $100 prize pool. And I mean, the points are, I mean, you get 40 for a TC, one for each of those PvP points, and then obviously you can get some defense points in this phase. But the most of those points coming from those TCs, eliminating those teams is very huge. And we've talked about it in previous weeks that as you eliminate more and more teams, the easier teams will fall out first. So the more time you wait to push toward the TC, the harder those raids are going to be, the less bases there are going to be. And eventually it's just going to be that there aren't enough points for you to catch up if you don't make a move starting soon.
Apologies for the crash zoom there. That was unintentional. Oh, ho, ho. I think someone from Pupsic has just clipped the edge of that node there while they're making that hit. But there's no team damage. So that didn't do much to his teammates. I don't know how they survived. I think it was Joker that did that, and he hasn't actually survived because GetRip's just taken the opportunity to take him down while he was on low health. Yeah, they're making quick work of this. Bedalagi
players.
Yeah, they need to get outside and stop this as soon as they can, and they are trying to do that right now.
They'll take advantage of that one down. They'll be pushing out now as they want to eliminate these two players and stop this attack. But the 1v1, Joker will fall. This one player, Bedalagi, just doing it all himself, and the shots from the high ground will rain down. Bedalagi trying to remove these beds as Pupsic. Looking like the push may be failed here. And there you go. The full players will be eliminated. No response there. And successful defense from Bedalagi. Very well done.
Yeah, that was well pushed. That was exactly like they said. They were doing it literally as I said it. So kudos to them because they don't have the advantage of flying about in the sky. They need to get these bags taken out pretty quickly, but it seems like they're banking on Pupsic coming back for another attempt. Never mind. That's them finally decided to do it.
Yeah, they definitely want to kind of destroy those beds. They might have been trying to farm some more kills off of them, but Pupsic smarter than that. They will go back to their own base, but still be holding down that lead. Maybe they will come back later, but for now, will be a successful defense. And talking about defense,
how is this still here?
How are they alive, man?
How in the hell is this thing still standing? What the? We got Dolby up here who are pushing on one side. I could hear a whole lot of C4. I think that's over on the side here trying to go through the compound wall. This is surely gonna, this has to fall now.
It has to. Like, there's no way. I mean, Simpura, they've had such a good defense all day, but I mean, this base is in shambles. There's other people's walls. I mean, look at the walls all the way through their compound. Like, I don't understand what is going on, but they're somehow defending. An hour left in this raiding phase. They have survived for 30 minutes here with 4 teams raiding them.
The inside of this is all high qual, I think. It looks like, anyway, the majority of the core. So this is going to take a little bit more. But with the amount of rockets coming over this side, I don't think it's going to take very long. I think it would actually be faster just the foundation wipe it. Oh, actually, the center foundations are also high qual, so they've prepared for this. I really don't understand what the plan was. Was it just like, we'll just PvP our way out of it? It's working.
Yeah, it's working.
There's 3 teams here trying to do this.
Like, this is crazy. I mean, they've survived for 30 minutes. Just a single core, a single cylinder of base. That's all they have to work with. But like you mentioned, it's all high qual on that inside, so it's gonna take a lot of those rockets to bust through. And they're getting all of these points from teams pushing in. I don't know how much longer they can stand, but this is a feat in itself right now.
This is incredible. I actually really want to know what this thing on the side here is all about, to be honest, but VG have just arrived by the looks of it. Yes, you can see Simba Goshen and Bleibel. Or are they stealing? They're stealing transport. Grand Theft Helicopter over here while this base is falling down.
Yeah. Still, Simpura is defending as best they can. That middle core going to be high qual. None broken in yet, as it
Uh-oh.
looks like it finally will have a hole inside. But which team will claim it? Which team can get inside first? Because whichever one can, maybe the first to get it, because there's not a lot of space other than that. But these teams just fighting each other. It is bloody on the outside.
Oh,
As kills traded back and forth.
I
But
knew
the
that was
Rocket,
gonna
I believe,
happen. Where was it? Um,
don't know.
so while we were looking at the rockets on this side, that got C4'd by someone. That was Dolbayob, right? Yeah, that was Dolbayob, who I can't even see anymore, so they must have been killed in the process. I'm not even 100% on where it would have been on this side.
I don't know.
Well, that lasted way longer than I think either of us expected it to, so once again, kudos to Sampura. I've been eating a lot of crow today.
Yeah, they fought as hard as they could. I mean, 30 minutes still great for surviving. They could hopefully, bring a better base. I mean, it seemed like their defense was actually really solid, that their PvP, like you were saying, that was their plan. Just rely on their gun skills, rely on their PvP skills. It had worked up to a certain point. So maybe if they can come back next week, bring a better base design, they might have a pretty decent chance to do a lot better.
That's it. Maybe we'll see them again in NA. Lots of teams do this exact thing though. They'll enter EU and either the plan doesn't go according to plan, or they have a new idea they want to try out. It doesn't work out, but they learn so much from that they can then enter NA having fixed a lot of mistakes that they made in EU and perform much better for it. So
yeah, there's always that opportunity. Obviously, NA will be at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If I'm wrong. So make sure to check that out. It will be later, but like you're saying, a lot of these teams they try a lot of things out, and it's always a learning experience, especially for newer teams that are coming in that haven't played as much as some of the experienced teams have. But even for the experienced teams, like you're saying, you can try out a base, try out different things. There's no cost to you, because obviously you can come back next weekend, come back for NA, come back and try new things. So if it works out, if it helps your team out, or if it helps you learn, it's always worth it.
looks like Dolbyov has successfully defended from a push from free TC. So I think we've missed the action there. Moving on from that one. Go up to M4 again, I think. I can hear a lot of boom. Oh my god.
Oh, wow. And it looks like Ice is going to have the same treatment that Sapura did, where everyone kind of just dogpiling on to try and take out their base. We saw Santa in here earlier, as they will be on that one side of the base now. But
Yeah, you can see the boat on the hill there.
Yeah. The boat base, famous for making that Santa. Bilbo, like you were saying, they took that TC and have jumped themselves up into that first place position. Very strong right now to 189 points. So far ahead, at least a TC ahead of every other team. Really putting that work forward and putting those rockets down, expending so much. And for those other teams that were on the raiding the Sabura, I mean, you got to think of all that time they wasted. We talked about how they were sitting there for like 30 minutes and just using all of their resources just to get it snagged from them. So you have to think those other teams that were there, is that cost too high? Is that going to affect them later down the road?
No, you're absolutely right. Like, Dolbyall pretty much just turned up at that and took it from everybody that was fighting, from what it looked like to me as well. So that's a lot of wasted time on the part of at least two other teams in what should have been a relatively easy take. There's a lot of damage coming into the outside onto this.
Yeah, the outside is damaged, and it seemed like the inside was damaged earlier. It seems like they got some repairs down, which is good, but Santa definitely did a number when they did walk over here. But for right now, I mean, they're gonna have a lot of. It just seems like we talked about. I believe this is one of the teams up in that like kind of U shape we saw on the map at the beginning, and so many teams can hear this fight and they're like, okay, why don't we hop on for a chance to do exactly what Dolbyol did, where they could just run in, maybe take it from somebody else that put in all of that work and get themselves some points. And I mean, if you hear the fighting, why not maybe earn yourself some PvP points too in the process?
Santa seemed to have something against that wall there. Not too sure what the purpose of that one was. It has revealed two doors on the inside though in the advent calendar. Nice defense there. I think Santa are getting double teamed from an internal defense and someone else from the outside. As members of Crippy are here, as well. And I think that was also General from Ice that was doing that. Got a
Yeah,
lot of high
so
call in
many
here.
teams here.
Ooh.
Interesting. Okay.
This is the disadvantage to being commentator plus observer, is you hear all the weird noises I make when I do a stupid move with my camera. I'll have to practice that one.
But yeah, this base is exactly like you mentioned. So it's the advent calendar. If the chat doesn't know, obviously we can explain it. It's pretty much, there are a lot of doors. It could be in any single one of them. If you think about the game show Deal or No Deal, where the $1 million is in one of those cases, but you don't know which one it is. So you could find it off of luck. You could find it off of obviously eliminating all of the other ones. So we'll have to see, but obviously it takes some time, to get through those, unless you do get super lucky, or, it could be all just reverse psychology that they have put it in the core.
Ice seem to have been forced to start spawning outside, which is not a good sign for their defense.
Yeah.
Santa have been completely pushed out by that double team that they got there, and Crippy have taken their place, and they are all over the inside of this.
The inside going to take some damage. That first high qual will fall here as players being traded. I mean, it does help Ice a little bit that there are so many teams because they can eliminate each other from the outside. But, I mean, like you were talking about Santa, they had so much work into this base. They had destroyed the top of it earlier, and they really need these points, not even in the top 10 right now. And this is their neighbors. They want to eliminate them first, and we've talked about it exactly before on Sempura. What happened was all these teams put so much time and they weren't raiding other people. So for Santa, you need to get back in here. You need to really push this, or it could be a possibility now if they think about it. You could go raid one of the other teams that are here and maybe get a little bit of an early start of the raid.
They are pushed all the way in through this core, and this isn't likely to be the position of the TC, but that's what I said last time, so... Still a good idea to clear out as much of this as possible, because the majority of the Ice's bed spawns are probably in here. Looks like they've still got a couple on the roof as well.
Yeah, once those bed spawns will be eliminated. I mean, we saw it was like you were saying, Ice. I mean, they had to spawn outside, which is not the place you want to be spawning with 3 or 4 teams kind of dogpiling onto your base. And the C4 and other boob going to come down here to blow up this wall. Gonna try and see what they can do. I mean, Santa put a number on this base and they want to continue it. So C4 going to be placed, but shot's gonna be traded. And player on the inside will be putting some good stuff down as that C4 does go through the garage door and the other door will be blown up. So the player of Ice will be getting some kills. So just trade back, try and have the best defense possible. I mean, they could be getting some decent defense points if they defend it, but I mean, for 3-4 teams here, it's a pretty rough life for them right now.
Just laughing at that door that they took all the time to remove from the inside out. It's really improved the access into this area of the base. It's easy to do that. In the middle of the fight, you see a door, especially in the base that is so common within Base Invaders with all of these doors. You see a door, you throw a C4 on it. You don't have time to check around the other side to see if you've already blown it. Wasting time if made a renewed push in as well.
Looks like one of their players will fall here, will get shot down, but they want to push him. I mean, this base is pretty open at the moment, so any team that does get some members inside, we talked about the advent calendar. We talked about how, I mean, you need to put time into this base to blow up the doors, and you could be just that one lucky team that picks the right door, picks the $1 million, and gets yourself those 40 points.
A lot of C4 going off, and I'm trying to figure out where. I think we found it here. Is that enough to take that wall down? It sure is.
Yep. We'll blow up into that inside of the core. Now, the core is high qual, but I don't think the TC is going to be in this core.
No, it's unlikely. But I've jinxed myself once already, so I'm keeping an eye on it just in case.
It's smart, though. I mean, we've seen it before that, like, if you have a core of high quality, it makes other teams kind of think, oh, it's in the core, and they waste all of their boom, all their C4 onto destroying that high qual, whereas they're not using it to destroy some of those doors, and then just in the core is some beds and some loot. So it's really nice, a really nice design from Ice to kind of put that in the middle. But I mean, it's rough right now for Ice, even though they have that middle. Their base is in a little bit of shambles right now.
I'm suspicious of these doors. It is on the side that many of the teams, at least 3 teams, have pushed in through this side, and they are defending it really heavily. And I am wondering whether it might be on this side. What's out towards this direction? There's no base outside this direction, so if they're in the neighborhood of anyone else's bases, that's probably a good shout. But I think they're actually pretty alone out here. Oh, right, Llama, I feel like we're going to have to move on, which inevitably means the TC will be taken about 30 seconds later. But there is a lot of other stuff happening.
As soon as you click off, they're going to take it.
Pupsic are over here, second place, although it is now a bit of a gap between them and Dolby Yob.
Yeah, a little bit of gap. They have gotten over 200 points now. Holding down that first place, Pupsic, we saw them taking some TCs earlier, but it looks like they are on the defense, I believe, now.
I think this is actually both Pupsic and Nurik. Oh, no, I'm not so sure.
Purple.
Yeah, attacking purple. Let's just confirm that, because as soon as I said that, it looked like I saw someone from Pupsic open a door. So, no, it is. It's purple's base.
Okay.
Pupsic look like they're the closest in, and there are members of Nurik pushing along outside the wall here as well. Hixar's on the outside. There were quite a few more of them a moment ago, but it looks like they have been cleared out, and Hixar's decided to ease off.
Taking the car away from
Joker.
He'll eliminate him out of the car. Really nice shot from him. And I mean, we've talked about Purple a lot in the attack phase, but not a lot in this raiding phase. They have been so quiet. And here they are going to be raided. I mean, their base is pretty nice. But how long can it stand up to the veterans in Pupsic? I mean, second on the leaderboard right now. If they take this TC, they will regain their first place position. But for right now, they are going to be, again, pushing inside this advent calendar type base.
I think they're in here.
But I mean, it's just pretty much them and Purple here. Just a team versus a team.
There's a lot of unfortunately open doors in here. But once again, we're in the core. So it is unlikely. But they are clearing it out all the same. I mean, given that this is, like we say, likely to be the source of many bed spawns, it's not a bad idea to be doing this while you're on the way.
Those beds cleared out, get those spawn chances reduced, and like you're saying, these open doors going to help Pupsic out. Holding those rockets in hand, blowing open those garage doors to see if they can find that TC, just pushing in further. And they got some PvP points while doing this, so it seems like they really want to take out this Purple team. And I mean, Purple, you got to get this defense off. You got to get going soon because it is looking rough. You had a good time in the attack phase, but the time now in the raiding phase is not so fine and dandy.
I'm gonna have a quick peek in this door. More doors. I feel like this is probably not going to be their focus. Boomshot maybe doesn't have any C4 because he's not bothering with that. And I can now hear C4 going down here. And that's Ice eventually eliminated by Crippy.
But that's crazy. I mean, again, another team coming in and kind of yoinking that TC up. I mean, Crippy, we didn't see them in the base at all until, like, they were only on the outside. So they must have gotten the push in, gotten the work stolen from other people. And again, that time utilized from those other people just going to go completely down the drain. I think Santa, one of the biggest to mention, because they put so much work into the top of that base. And then it kind of just went to nothing. And they have fallen kind of to the wayside on the leaderboard.
Yeah, it's not. Where are they in the leaderboard, actually? 17th. So yeah, they have been foiled out of a number of raid attempts so far. I've seen at least 2 of them on camera. I believe Crippy had made the push in there just before we were leaving, in that same entrance that both Nurik and Wasting Time attempted to push into. So it did have to fall eventually. But it looks like Pupsic are not confident about where they're searching for this TC at all.
Yeah, they're having a little bit of trouble here as this base proving to be a little bit harder than they imagined. But just looking around for now, it looks like Purple, like, I don't know where they are. They haven't really pushed back to try and stop this because even though they are confused, it just has kind of seemed like this has been a free push from Pupsik, and the players of Purple haven't really gotten to kill much of these members. They're kind of just a couple of them sitting on the roof right now, watching
Yeah.
that hatch, and it's looking rough right now for Purple. I'm not gonna lie.
They're super interested in this hatch. I don't know if that's just because it's their only route down, but they seem very concerned about Pupsik's current location. And holy shit, that was a lot of C4. Was that a wall they were blowing off there? Interesting. Must have been further down that drop down.
10 kill streak. It's going crazy.
These half-height doors is definitely something I would be investigating as well, because that could just be for a roof peak, but also that would be an excellent place for a TC. It seems like they've checked all of them. Have they? And actually, if these have all got a half wall in them, then you can't put a TC in these ones. This one, on the other hand.
Yeah, could be a TC. Gonna try and put some C4 down to blow open that door. It will blow open the door.
And I think that's already... Oh, it's not, actually. I thought that was already open from the other side, but it's not. And this would be a very sneaky place if this is where it is, and it's not. It's just a generator. And there's another half wall in here anyway, so it looks like everything on this section's got a half wall in it. So there's no TCs in there. No space to put one.
No TC. And again, the reign of Pupsik will continue through as Purple looks to get this push. They will get some of those players eliminated, but the trades, Nurik is here. Oh, this man is massacring Purple. The whole team just going to fall just to this one dude. And the Nurik players are in. They're ready to take over the work that was done by Pupsik.
I think poor Jamesy was just trying to put a door back on somewhere there. Gun down in his prime. There you go. He's got an AK now, and he means business. It's much better. And they've shelled a twig out here. This is obviously from a rebuild that they've not had any time to do anything with. That is precarious stuff to be standing on. Don't think I would be doing that. Oh. Joker catches him out.
And Nurik is really doing a good job of kind of pushing towards to try and keep themselves into this race. They've dropped themselves down to 4th place. They're still in the running. I mean, we're talking about time. About half of the rating phase is already gone. About half of it is left. So you still have a decent bit of time, but you don't have the most time. So you got to start making moves, and that's what Nurik wants to do. They want to secure. Obviously, they're seeing a raid that Pupsik is doing. And, I mean, if they can take this from Pupsik, it could be huge. They could jump themselves above Pupsik. Getting those PvP, getting that TC could really jump themselves up into that 2nd place and really a contender to win this thing.
It looks like they are now pretty much in control of this. Purple are having a lot of problems dealing with it because they can't get consistent spawn. Some of the times they're not even spawning with guns. They're having to go on a hunt. It's so difficult to follow where this attempted push with the explosives is happening, though, just because of the sound in here. I think we need to go back out again.
Yeah, they're just rocketing it. It seems like all of this top has pretty much been cleared out. There are a few more places that it could be, but I assume it's down somewhere in that outer wall in the advent calendar. But these players think otherwise. These players think it's still up in this top section. As these players of Nurik just going to continue these rockets, continually put down the pressure that Pupsik had already put down for them. So trying to continue this on, trying to keep it up.
Unfortunately for Nurik, they don't know that Pupsik were already in here checking this exact part. So I think we're going to have to move on out of here again. That is so much explosions happening over here. What is going on? Need a safe way out of here. So they still got pretty much full control of the top, although actually, no they don't, because that is not... We've lost our radar again here, folks. It's going to just take me a moment to fix.
Yeah, I mean, just these crates are getting destroyed, the bed's getting destroyed, everything going downhill now. as looks like Nurk just going to blow open everything. They do not want to let them have any resources, any chance. And now the Rockets coming straight through that top. So actually putting down some shots just straight through. The spawn will come through. It looks like it will be Pupsic as is going to get some trades out here onto that one player. So two of these teams, two of these top teams really competing for this TC. Whichever one gets it, it's going to be massive. It's going to be a massive difference between them. So they both, Pupsic knows what they have cleared out, like you were saying. Nurk may have a little bit less information. And Pupsic going to control the high ground, Nurk going to control the low ground at the moment. But that's not great for Nurk, as that's where Purple is going to be spawning in and trying to shoot them.
Seem to have dealt with it fairly well, and this is a real nightmare of a base. You can tell that by the amount of people that are in here. Most of this roof is also high quality as well. Fesker making an attempt, but this is the issue. Like, Purple can never, they're never fighting in equal numbers here. They're constantly having to deal with like 1v2s, 1v3s all the way through this base, so.
Yeah, it's rough to deal with, and Pupsic, they're just taking advantage. They're using their resources effectively. They're using those rockets, just blowing holes down through the middle. Purple, it looks like, has kind of weeded out Nurk here, so it's just down to pretty much this Pupsic team is looking to continue their work. Nurk helped them out a little bit, but 194, and Betalagi is going to be eliminated by Free TC.
Yeah, I think
So
we will
Free
move on
TC
from here as well.
get themselves a little bit extra points, you know.
Okay, up to H8, where we have Pekka and VG. Now let's give a quick look at the points before we go in here, because we haven't had an opportunity to look at this.
Wow.
Simpura are still on the table?
Looks like they haven't turned red. All the teams that got eliminated haven't turned
Oh yeah, that's a good point. None of the teams that have gone out have turned red. That's weird. Well, that's going to be fun to try and figure out at the end. Just pop down here to see Dolby Yob have now arrived, which is probably not good for VG. Probably want to get some peace to do this raid, and they're not going to get it.
This base, it seems pretty strong at the moment. It it's a little bit worse roof, like you were mentioning a little bit earlier. I think that they kind of updated it just a little bit, that it has a little bit of extra peaks down with those corner kind of walls in between that chip roof. But Pekka going to be get shot down here in their own compound. So the one player Pekka though will be on an 8 kill streak. So good for them to get some of those points. But Dobiob is going to be still holding down that first place. They've been holding it down for a little bit, still a whole TC ahead. And I mean, they've been kind of quiet. So you have to assume that either they're on a defense or they're right here coming in to try and take Pekka out and try and push their lead even further.
This is who Ego is attempting to increase his kill streak on here, but there's like 4 members of Dolby Yob facing him when he peaks now. So I think he's probably less confident about that than he was before. Still an excellent angle, though. He catches one of them off guard. It's going to go well. He's got a nice little peek there. Doesn't seem to be bothering Dolby Yob, though. They got him down at 25 health, it looked like.
Yeah, they're not bothered at all. They're just going to be sending everything they can at this base. We've seen how successful they can be. And, I mean, talking about time. Almost, 37 minutes. You're approaching that 30-minute mark where you only have about a third of that time left. It starts to become an interesting game. Now, the thing to mention here, I like to mention is, the higher you are on the leaderboard, the bigger target you have on your back. And if Dobiob, I mean, if they stay at this pace, if they take out this TC, theoretically, they're 80 points above everyone else. Is it better, Ian, for these teams to just target them instead?
Well, this is the gambling point, because that strategy, generally speaking, if someone starts pulling ahead on the leaderboard, that is exactly what you'll see happen. Someone will turn up at their base, usually 2 or 3 teams will all have the same idea, and eliminate them. But it's not always successful. You can end up actually aiding the team that's ahead doing that, because if they successfully defend against you, they're already ahead in the leaderboard, you haven't taken any TCs, and they've successfully gotten a bunch of raid defend points from holding you off. So it can go either way.
Yeah. It can, and it's a gamble, and I think those teams kind of have to take that gamble as that, time kind of winds down. If you're down to 20, 25, 10 minutes, whatever, I mean, it's down to dire straits if you're not in that point category to try and catch back up. It might be the only play you have, but right now it looks like they will be clearing out. Our top team is looking to gain themselves some more points, 50 points ahead at the moment, but looking to add towards it. Another advent calendar base will be they will be engaging onto, kind of blowing open those doors, see if they can get it. And Pekka is going to get some of those trade backs, but it still looks like Dolby is doing a great job on this base right now.
Yeah, they really are. They're clearing out these advent calendar doors very quickly. Pretty methodically as well. I don't think they've missed any inner doors anywhere so far. So I can't imagine this is going to take very long, but at this point it really is just a case of luck how long it takes you to find the correct one. It doesn't look like it's particularly obvious in any direction which one of these is going to be. So this is their only option, really. They've split the team up as well, though, which I think I like here. It looks like Zads is just on his own taking care of this side while we've got other people PvPing outside to keep the rest of the team at bay.
Yeah, it looks like VG has come to join the fight, but like you're saying, they have cleared out a lot of these doors, really trying to get as much as they can, and VG trying to push out. Pekka is here though, but going to be absolutely massacred in their own base. Dolbayov is doing such a good job here, taking down these base walls, trying to get as much as they can before these players do respawn, but you have to be careful as this VG team is looking to kind of steal it from them.
Yeah, you really do. I think we might have made a mistake, however, because I just saw someone from VG opening and closing more than one door in here. So I think, despite the fact that there were members on the roof, I don't think this is actually Pekka's base. I think this is VG's base. So just gonna have a quick confirmation of that. And it is. This is VG's space.
Okay.
But yeah.
I was like, why was Pekka like inside? Like they were just, VG wasn't there. Pekka just had claimed it as their
this is why I check, Lama, because you float into this situation, you've got no idea whose base that is. You see a bunch of people standing on the roof shooting. You assume they're going to be the people who defended it, but that's not always the case.
Not always the case, and I mean for VG, I mean two teams then going to be pushing you. One of the top team right now, and another team that has been kind of quiet. For Pekka, if you could steal this away, it could be massive. And VG, you need to defend this. You need those defense points. You need those PvP points, which are going to be so important. Again, we talked about the points. If you're just tuning in, obviously, I mean the points, how you get them. On this leaderboard, 40 points for each TC you eliminate, and that will also eliminate the team that you take the TC from. 1 point for each PvP point, and you also get some points if you defend. So VG could get some if they get a successful defense, but it looks like Dolbio wanting to get those 40 points for themselves.
Well, I was banking on that being the TC, but unfortunately not. But it does really feel like one of these second level doors is likely to be the culprit.
I mean, it's got to be close. Like they were so precise with just taking down each and every door, just looking through every one, and it just seems there's very limited options of where this TC could be.
Really
you have to think if you're VG, you gotta. I mean, I didn't know where they were. Like they weren't defending. We were talking about this. They weren't defending for a little bit. They came back really late, so it could cost them their whole game here today if they are not careful. If they do not get this defense off, and there is not a lot of place for their TC to hide. Talking about hiding, Santa going to be hiding behind these walls here, shooting some rockets down at Crippy, who took one of their bases earlier. So maybe a little bit of revenge. Maybe a little bit of just wanting some of those points. They will be blowing a giant chunk here into Crippy's base, and the outer compound already broken through.
Yeah, this does taste slightly assault, doesn't it? But look at the amount of damage that they have done. I could hear this happening from the other base that we were at here, and the sheer amount of explosions that were coming over here meant we had to come and see what was going on. They are destroying this.
Yeah, I think you made Santa mad. I think.
I don't want to make the Bold Boys mad.
Oh no. You have them on your side. Yeah, I mean Santa, like we talked about, they kind of got two bases stolen away from them, so haven't really been able to put points on the board. So just trying to take out one of those teams. As I mean, we talk about as time goes on, there's going to be more and more like limited bases that you can attack. So it gets tougher and tougher. But Santa, they want to push in. They will push in. A giant hole being blown open, and they got 4 players into this base trying to destroy it as we approach this 30-minute mark. So just a third of this raiding phase left. A fourth of the total time is all that these players will have. And Santa going to be traded back and forth with those rifle shots.
I think they got all of the ones that were pushed in there. Nope, there's one member of Santa still in the bottom having a run about. And I just heard... Ah. So this is probably quite good for Crippy, because that turret wasn't on until just a moment ago. Something happened to it. Probably took the generator out or something like that.
Oh, and there you go. EG. We saw them taking so much damage. The advent calendar will be destroyed. Dolbyulb. I mean, just absolutely domination right now. 312 points. Over 100 points over the next closest team. I mean, you got to think it is time for them to get their defenses ready.
Santa have been entirely pushed out here, but they're just pushing straight back in again. And that really looked like that was a Crippy member rocking his own base. Don't know what that was about. But I think they're going to have a harder time with this the second time round. Because the thing is, this is a huge open space you got on the side of the building, right? That you can't argue with that. That's a big old hole. But it also opens up a whole lot of vision for Crippy to be defending. And they don't really have to move around a whole lot to do it. So they now have angles they can defend from that they didn't before. That's probably the only positive you can take from having a giant hole in the side of your base.
Yeah, it opens up vision. That's the best.
Yeah.
That's the best part about having a hole in your base. I like having holes in my base. It's great. But Crippy, yeah, they're going to try and defend. They have that turret up, like you were saying, that will help in their defense. They do have those chip roofs that will provide some nice head peeks to try and take out those members of Santa, as they send some players out on the cross, but will be eliminated. So Santa playing really strong for right now. They have some of those beds. And Parple is going to be eliminated also. So Nurik, we saw Nurik and Pupsic, both of these teams were trying to take out this TC. We were talking about whoever took this would jump themselves up into that second place, and Nurik has done it. They may not be, they're still probably 2 TCs away from Dolbio, but
oh yeah,
dang, what a nice take from Nurik.
Yeah, and once again, excellent defending, because there was a whole shitload of people in Purple's base, and that is taking quite some time before that fall down. We got to see the state of it before when we were checking it out previously. I think we will see what else we've got down here. And it is starting, you can see how much this is emptied out. We have lost a lot of teams today.
Yeah.
So we've got here, what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yeah, there's only 9 teams left, I think. Have a quick check over here and see how Snake are getting on. Is this theirs? I think this is theirs.
I believe it is.
It is. So it looks like they've just successfully defended and we've missed that one.
That'll be good for them though. Sitting in 5th place right now, give them some of those extra points. And I mean,
yeah,
Purple, they're eliminated. So
yeah, they're actually in 4th.
Teams in the top going to be. I mean, at this point, you got to look towards that number 1 slot. I mean, Dolbyol, 313 points, absolutely dominating right now. Question will be, can they hold out? I mean, 25 minutes, that's all they got to wait, though.
In the short time that we have been gone, it seems like Pekka have decided to join this little party between Kripke and Santa. And I can hear a whole lot more C4 on this side. You see Santa doing this quite a lot, by the way, and it's not a lot of teams really do this. They have a tendency to go in through like a random corner through the foundation and then make their push in that way rather than taking off some doors on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, judging by the points they've had, it's not been particularly successful for them, but it is nice to see a different approach. And ooh.
Yeah. They want to get in. I mean, you were mentioning that P.E.K.K.A did join this, and I think we talked about it, that as time goes on, there's less bases for you to raid. You just talked about there's like 9 or 10 teams left, so any team that is getting raided is just going to get piled on by everyone else, because everyone wants those points. And I mean, as teams fall and fall out, that means just less points for those teams trying to catch up, trying to get that first or second place, or even get themselves into the top 5.
Well, I was suspicious of this armored door hidden away in a corner here, but it looks like it just leads to the outside, so not as much a mystery as I thought to start with. Crippy are all over this. I mean, they still did a really good job of covering this. Seems to be getting them some raid defense points as well. I think there's been a gap in between. Someone in the chat asking, by the way, if there's anyone that can join this. So today's tournament, both of today's tournaments, sign-ups are now closed. But if you do !Discord in the chat, that'll give you a link to the Base Invaders Discord where you can find out about all the information that you need in order to sign up. The team sizes and the applications are open every Wednesday, and we play every Sunday.
And your friends, always fun to play in these, even if you aren't one of the more experienced teams. Just fun to hop in Rust, fun to design with some bases, and maybe get yourself on stream and hear us commentate on you arguing over pixels, you know?
Oh, I've just realized there's snakes on the boat. I need to come over here.
Snakes on the boat?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I think that's the third one. I'm not sure. I've only seen the first two.
Yeah. I think the boat has pretty good defense. Santa gonna push those players back, it looks like. So, good for them so far. Obviously, they're known for this, the boat base. We love it here. It's absolutely amazing. And it's really effective, it seems. It's small, but it really, really works. They can
It's so
defend it,
annoying.
they can see through
It's
the whole
so
thing.
annoying.
It's annoying. It's very annoying.
It's exactly what you want. Right now. Holy shit. Where are the... Excuse me. This is this Dolby Obs? There are a lot of people here. I think this might be Dolby Ob defending here. It is. So we got free TC, gibberish, pedicure, wasting time. Is that everyone? I think that's everyone so far. The thing is, there's a shrinking number of bases left on this map, so there's every chance a couple more people will turn up here soon. This is getting pummeled. But look how strong it is, though. They haven't really even exposed any inner there.
Yeah, it's a strong base. It's gonna be a hard defense though. 4 teams here, like you were saying, but that can only help Dolby at this point. Like, you know, you're the #1 team right now. You know, if you survive for 20 more minutes, you probably win. Like, there's no team that, unless Nurik gets 2 TCs, like it's gonna be you guys. So if you can hold down this defense, if you can hold off this, it could be really good. And they're playing really smart. Also, they're sending players outside to just be a nuisance. The more angles that these players have to look towards is the better situation for Dolbeol. And it's a big and tanky base. So 4 teams going to be shooting at it.
You're not wrong there, Llama. Having multiple people attacking does give you an advantage because you are a single unit and they are an unorganized mess, right? However, what you really want to be happening in that sort of situation is for the teams that are outside to be skirmishing. And if you have a look over here, most of these people are pretty much points of the clock away from each other. No one's really skirmishing, and look at the amount of rockets that are just coming straight in here. So this is really not good for Dolby. This'll be less effective as the teams get closer together, because as they get closer together, they won't be able to avoid skirmishing with each other, and they'll be forced to start interacting. You can see Pedicure here is just great up to the wall, and there's free TC are close as well. So that's going to stop happening soon. But in the meantime, it is wreaking havoc on this.
Yeah, being the #1 team, you are not safe. And their outer compound is blown in from 3 different sides, it looks like. As I mean, look at the holes already inside of this base. It is rough if you're a Dolby now. I mean, there are other members that have tried to come inside. Their compound defense has been pretty okay so far, but as these teams, like you said, get closer, it is going to get rougher and rougher as they kind of, like you said, they're kind of separated away from each other enough where they're just, let's just shoot rockets. Let's all just coexist in this area. Just shoot rockets at them. Let's all take them down together. Let's all risk it to try and see if we can get that GC. And Dobio, they're doing the best they can. I mean,
someone's coming. This party is about to get even busier because there's a transport heli on its way. A scrap heli, rather. And look at this. Looks like 3TC have breached the wall, but it doesn't look like anyone's actually successfully made it past the compound yet. Everybody's getting right up to the wall, but nobody's actually made it in. And, oh, now that I say that, is that a member of Pedicure in there? It is.
Looks like it, yeah. Obio was doing the best they can, trying to defend this, but I mean, man, this is not a party for them. This is a horror show. As I mean, you got to imagine the comms are all scattered. They really, I mean, they're trapped inside their own base. They're gonna have to defend for 20 more minutes at the moment, and
it's not looking. It's not looking good. But you can't. What can you do against this? There's 25 people now. If that other team has arrived, I'm not sure who it is. Is it Pekka? But yeah, 25 people out here that you're having to defend against. So that is no easy feat. Pedicure have now got a number of people in on this corner.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa,
it's done.
Whoa, where?
They find it like right there.
Must have been right on this corner.
Wow. So our #1 team, Dobio, even though they get that 332, they won't be redded out, but just remember, everyone, that they will be eliminated, not in contention anymore. Pedicure pulling it off. Very well done from them. They're still in
very nice
place
deal.
even after that GC, but
yeah, well, they're probably a couple further up than that because there are teams above them in this that have been eliminated. We should explain, folks, that ordinarily on the scoreboard you see on the right, the teams who have been eliminated would be showing in red. Something is obviously not working, and that is not happening, so it's a little bit more difficult for us to tell. But we will still be able to see the final scores here. So that puts Nurik in first place right now, right? With Popsick in second, Snake in third, Crippy in fourth, Purple are out, and Wasting Time are still with us, as are 3TC and Pedicure.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a gift for Nurik. I mean, I don't even think Nurik was here.
And it looks like it was Popsick that were arriving to cause havoc, but they were a little bit too late on that one. Okay.
I mean, Nurik, you're just cheering right now. Like, there are less and less teams now. You're in a very good spot, but I'd also like to mention the leaderboard just got so much closer.
Oh, yes.
That really any of these teams, I mean, any of these top 5 teams that go and take a TC could jump now over Nurik. So you got your work cut out for you. Looks like, again, Snake is going to be pushing. We've seen Snake kind of all around. They've been at Santa. They've been at a raid on Dolbiob. They've been here, and this is going to be the choice for them to kind of raid Crippy at the moment. And we'll see if it pays off, because Snake being one of those teams, being at 210, if they get a successful raid, it could mean a first place finish for them.
Yeah, all it takes is a successful TC, and that'll propel them right to the top. And this is a good spot that I think that they've picked, because they've picked a site that's not facing any other bases. It's heading off to a monument, but there's no real good place. The monument itself is too far away for anybody to get a decent place to pick from all the way over there. So this is a good guess. Like this is a definite possibility as to the side that the TC could be on. Now I can hear a helicopter coming. I hear. Oh, that's not the one I heard. There's 2 helicopters. So we've got the gibberish lads.
Yeah.
And Don't Kill My Vibe has actually pushed out and taken out pretty much everybody that was camped in this set of walls from Snake. It's just Explorer left.
Yeah, it pretty much that is it. Crippy the one player all, but it's like you were saying, I mean, Snake, it kind of seems like their raids have been a little bit unsuccessful. I mean, they've been pushing onto a couple of different people. Once all 5 of them die, they kind of just back up, back out. So it seems like they really need to commit to something here, they really need to get a decent raid off without letting those flanks happen. Because it seems like their PvP has been a little bit lacking when they've tried to push up towards a raid.
Yeah, it looks like internal damage on this side is really not that bad. So it does seem like they really want to be getting people in and taking the fights. Kripke have decided that's not happening. Oh, look at this. Get a little group.
Oh, they're just going to get absolutely murdered.
Oh.
3 of them will fall. And Santa is here. The boat boys are looking to take some points. 3 members will fall. And I mean, Santa, they unsuccessful raids all day. They've been stolen from multiple times, wanting something just maybe for moral support now. They will send all their players up here, truck and all, try and see if they can take out yet another member of competition.
That was unfortunate. They really lined up for that so hard. Like terrible time to be caught out. They were looting something that we couldn't see. I assume there must have been someone there that they needed to loot from. They might have been low on items, you know, and weapons and armor and such. I guess that's why they were doing it, because there was a definite reason they were all standing in a line like that. It's not, as it turns out, a good idea.
Yeah, maybe not the best idea. But they'll get those resets off. Hopefully they can try and defend, but we talked about it. Limited teams, limited time. 15 minutes. That is all that is left for these teams. It's going to come down to the wire, though. Even though Nurk has a pretty decent lead, I mean, if any team takes it, like we said, if any team takes a TC that is in that top 5, they will jump themselves above of Nurk. So it's going to be interesting. You have to keep going. The marathon is not over yet. You have a few miles left to go. You cannot give up now. And I mean, Nurk, you got to keep going too. If you could get another TC, that could possibly put you in a securing first place position.
Now that is an interesting armored door. I'm not sure what is on the other side of this spot here, so I can't tell if that's a route outside or not. But there's a lot of people coming in to defend this llama, so I think we might be onto something.
Yeah, they.
Oh, it's a bed.
Trying to come in and defend it. Oh, nice.
Never mind. There is another armored door here as well, so the issue is obviously without us being able to see on the other side, I'm not actually sure if this is likely to be the spot.
An interesting little base, but Santa wants to blow it up. They want to get some points here. The rocket's going to be on the back shoulder here of Luigi. So they will keep on shooting, trading some shots, and I think the boom will stop for just a second, but that rocket launcher going to be pulled out. Some C4 also going to be used by this Santa team to try and destroy as much as they can. It looks like Snake is also here, so you have to be a little bit careful of
Pekka
them.
as well.
Yeah, everyone hears the sounds in the distance. They're like, okay, let's go hop on that raid.
I just want to point out that I was sitting waiting for this door to be broken, and there was a window here, but we'll just pretend that didn't happen, eh? I'm very curious to see. Like, again, we're in the core, so it's probably not in here, but that's a lot of armored doors.
Yeah. It's a strong core, and I think, again, it's kind of that reverse psychology, you know, like putting that armored door, making sure no one has access to go just straight through all of your base very easily. But, I mean, it's very interesting having all of these armored doors really.
Yeah, it's nothing up there.
These resources. Yeah. Kind of just wasted. Rockets wasted that they could have used other places.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is that. The thing is, like, we keep saying this, like, they've got... You can only... The best thing to do is go, I think it might be here, and then push through until you're satisfied that it's not. So... And any damage that you do just opens up mobility in the base. It opens up peaks that weren't there before. In most situations, it makes it harder to defend. So it's still good.
Still good, yeah.
Even if it's not the optimal position.
Too, so... And taking down that core, like we said, it kind of gives access to more points into the base. So we'll see what Santa can do. 11 minutes left. Time is running out. Santa can definitely, I don't think they will be able to jump themselves into even the top 5. But just trying to, like we said, trying to get one successful raid off. Because it's just been sadness for them today, I feel like.
Look how many people are here. Yeah, it was just Santa that had arrived, I'm pretty sure, when we got here. So we've now got Wasting Time, Pekka, Crippy, who are still defending, but this is getting very busy. I fully expect someone else to turn up as well. I think what we might do is see, is there anything else happening on the map? Ah, now this is isolated. Who is this? It's
Gibberish
Pupsic
boys.
and the Gibberish lads. Let me go look. It's just Boomshot, is it? Oh no. Oh, it looks like Pupsic have actually just landed here. So it looks like we might be able to see, might be about to see a push. This isn't a bad idea either, because like I'll go back to the map here. Look, there's nothing around. Anybody who comes to counter this, it has to commit real hard.
Yeah.
So this could be on to a winner. They might get peace and quiet to do this. But like we said, with the number of bases dropping pretty sharply, we're down to, I think we're down to 8 now.
Yeah.
That might not be that way for very long.
Yeah, we'll have to see, and it's also a very smart choice from Pupsic. I mean, 221 points right now. If they get this TC and Nurk doesn't do that much, I mean, it could be really close if they take that snatch that first place spot from Nurk. But I mean, 10 minutes. This base does look pretty well fortified, I would have to say. So they're gonna have to make really quick work of it. And like you said, committing is what they have to do. They know they have to do something, and if they just sit back and wait, it's gonna be too late. So they really have to either commit to this or commit to something. Because with under 10 minutes, you got to get this raid off quick.
That was a nice little move that they did there. I don't know if you saw that, but the positioning of their external walls that they placed down, they've made themselves a little bit of cover here before they took out the gate, so that they've still got somewhere that they can push from, even though that position's now been exposed. That was nice. They're hesitant about going in. Boomshot's go away for a run, and it sounds like someone might be behind them. Roofer is over at gas station. Yeah. No, that couldn't have been him, I don't think. Ah, there we go. I think that might have been Don Toxic from the flank.
Yeah, but looks like Pupsic have made their way around and inside the compound here, trying to get inside. It looks like only a couple of the Gibberish boys here to kind of defend, so Pupsic looking to get a good one here, but some shots being traded back and forth as we see Despair going to be running out, opening those doors, seeing if he can get some more of those members out.
Boomshot heard that.
Pupsic is ready. He's got the angle. He's got a good shot on the one. He's looking for the second. Some damage will be traded back and forth.
That's a disgusting angle that he just shot through. Look at that.
Oh, wow. Yes.
That's not an easy shot to make either, because the clipping and the collision on those furnaces is not great. So there's probably a whole lot of area you look like you can fire through that you actually can.
There you go. He gets a second too. I mean, very well done from Pupsic. 8 minutes now for them. I think it is them we definitely have to watch here. And I mean, Nurk, they're still in first, but
they're still racking up points as well, our Nurek. So I really wonder, I think this really just comes down to a couple of things. What Nurek are doing right now, and whether Pupsic can get this raid off. If Pupsic can get this raid off, it might be enough. But if Nurek are also in the process of raiding, or if they're defending and it gets to the end without them losing their base, then they'll get defense points added on top of that.
It's kind of hard for any team to really, you know, start a new raid right now, other than Pupsic have kind of, I mean, they're starting if they're kind of already inside, so they're going to have to make quick work of it. Only 7 minutes. Usually these raids taking longer on average, so going to have to get lucky or going to have to make very quick work of it. But it doesn't seem like a lot of the Gibberish boys are here. I only see 3 of them.
Yeah, so. I think they're just on. Oh, actually, yeah, there's some of them are on outside spawns. Toxic is over there, but now that you've mentioned that, I feel like some of them might be elsewhere. And there is actually a whole lot of very spaced out raids going on here. Let's have a quick run round. Here's Nurek. And whose base is that? Is this Free TC's base? There's no one in it. There's a member of Free TC outside. This is Nurek's base, actually. So it looks like they have just started pushing out. Oh, they're pushing on a neighbor that we can't see because of the draw distance? Ah, no. Ian is wrong once again. They're clearing out a bed spawn from the previous attempt at an attack on their base. And I think probably about to steal the chopper. So I think we might follow
Yeah.
these lads and see where they're going, huh?
Yeah. Have to see where they're going. I mean, obviously they're in the lead right now, but Upsick has the ability to take it from them. They're gonna get no defense points here because that there's no one really rating them. So 6 minutes left. Time is dwindling. I think it is going to come down to just those two teams. We saw Crippy getting rated a little bit earlier. So it could also come down to them if they get enough defense points, enough PvP points off of somebody rating them, that they could possibly jump themselves up to the top. But if not, I think like you've been saying, it's going to come down to Nurik, Pupsik, one of those two teams if they can make a difference. Yeah, that would be insane. Yeah, you got it. There's no way. I, I have no words. Oh, and Nurik did turn red, so weirdly. uh, I don't know, but what I know is, yeah, yeah, uh, yeah. I mean, Nurik not paying attention, they leave their base and they pay the price the top teams have paid. 4 minutes left, and it is going to come down to the absolute wire. Like you were saying, less than 2 points separating those teams in the top. And we'll see if any other. I mean, it's open now, too. I mean, Pupsik could take it, Snake could take it. Either of these teams, if they get one of those TCs, it's really, really close between those top four teams right now. Right. Yeah. It would be in their interest there. And look at that free TC, maybe some defense points, maybe some PvP points, but they will retake first place here. 6 points is all that separates them, though. I mean, that's not a lot. If Crippy can get a successful defense off, if Crippy can get successful kills off, they could catch up very easily. And I mean, we are down to right on the borderline here of time. Is going to come down to the last second, to the last bullet fired, as still four of these teams really still in this. Right. It can't be fun, but you have to get those kills. I mean, if you're Kippy, you need to get these kills. You need to get some sort of defense to get yourself over free TC, who are just, I mean, 7 points. That's all that separates you. It is not that much. Snake getting a lot of kills here on this inner side of the base. Now only 11 points away from that first place. Pupsik has fallen a little bit further behind, sitting in fourth right now, but 231 points to their name. If they got a TC here, could be good, but we're talking about a minute and 30 seconds. That's not a lot of time. just 6 points. That's all that it is. Oh, this is so stressful. Mhm. Right. Yeah. 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 It, would be interesting, but looks like Snake gonna take some more kills, and Snake has jumped over Crippy all of a sudden. Oh, Free TC will get themselves some extra points. Now holding the lead by 9. 30 seconds. The last 30 seconds what will be defining in this game. It comes down right to the end. Two of our teams, two of our top teams lose their TC, lose their lives, and it all comes down to this. The last 15 seconds. Free TC holding it for now. Crippy retakes that second place spot. Snake still holding down third for now. We will have to see how much defense points they get. The timer will expire here, and we will have to see the leaderboard to see. And it looks like Crippy, those defense points were enough. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Crippy pull it off. I guess that's all that they could say. I mean, that was just an insane turn of events. I mean, first we saw Dobio absolutely dominant throughout the first hour of that raiding phase, along with the attacking phase. And then they just, everyone sees that they're the top team and they become the target. We talked about it that it's very risk heavy to be at the top of that leaderboard, even though, I mean, you want to be at the top of the leaderboard, but it's such a risk. And we saw the same thing happen to Nurik, that they were at the top of that leaderboard also, and they just got targeted by Free TC. He blows open one wall, absolutely surgical, like you said, taking them down, and then it just becomes a race at the end.
Yeah, unbelievable. Let's have a quick check of these points just to see how close this is here. So we're just waiting to see confirmation if we're going to be interviewing the winners or not. No one has said anything to me so far, so we'll just wait for that. And this is what did it right here. Look at this. Raid defense is 4.
Oof.
That's pretty much
Yeah.
what won them that. But I mean, the thing is, with all of these people, these top 3, that was anyone's game. Like every single, I mean, wasting time were there as well. Popsic were on a hunt. Every single one of the teams that's in the top of the board here were all fighting for a TC right at the end.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, you were talking about Crippy, but Free TC, that TC at the end, eliminating Nurik, pretty much, I mean, it allowed all these teams to win
Yeah, they
because Nurik had
almost won them the tournament. What a play!
like that's crazy. I mean, and from them, I mean, they get a second. That is nothing to scoff at for them. A second place finish from Free TC, taking down the #1 team at the time. I mean, very well done. Crippy still does get that first place. Like you were saying, it's the raid defenses. 4 raid defenses for Crippy. Absolutely massive for them. Just defending up until the last moment.
And this singular individual performance in the kills here, look at these. 20, 22, 23, 28, and 50. So that was a hell of a carry. I think everybody owes them a drink. Go on to check what free TC you've got here as well. And look, this is it. Look how close that is, given comparison here. There's a very slight positive KD in favor of Crippy versus free TC.
Yeah. And it's the Crippy get 4 raid defenses and free TC they get 3 TCs. So I think it was just a little bit of those kills, those 10 kills or whatever on Crippy made the difference along with those raid defenses. And I mean, it was really well done to them. They became that top team. They saw the horror of all those teams pushing them, but just found a way to defend it at the end. And free TC is still, I mean, honorable. Second place, very honorable for them. A lot of kills, really nice raids for them. overall.
Yeah, and look, I think it was legit mode that did that as well. And look how many kills legit mode has got. But that doesn't matter because he got 40 points for basically for
Right.
free. So yeah, absolutely wonderful performance, and that was a hell of a TC take. I'm gonna remember that one. It was very cool.
Yeah, that was really good. Snake will be coming in third. No real raid successful. They were kind of on the same boat that Santa was. They had all those raid defenses, but no real successful offenses because they were. I mean, they were. You can't blame them. They were kind of on that bandwagon raid train where they kind of joined on to those other couple teams that were raiding everyone. And even though they get 218 kills,
Yeah,
they
that's a
don't
hell of a
they don't
ratio
end
too.
up getting yeah, they don't end up getting any TCs.
And once again, though, look at these kills here, right? So there's really not an even distribution among this team. You got
Mm.
15, 27, 42, 44, and 90
90.
kills in the top.
Jeez.
That is wild. I think you do see that a lot more often with your smaller team sizes, though. There's a lot more opportunity for individual performance in these types of things.
Right.
But yeah, that is yeah, really unlucky on their part, like you said. They were never in a solo raid. They were always fighting for control with at least another team, usually two other teams. So
Yeah.
it's just unfortunate that the TCs didn't go their way on that one. And
Yeah.
we've got
Up in that
Popsic.
U, it was rough.
Yeah, that was a bad area of town. And Popsic much the same situation here. Like, and the thing I want to just say this again, right? See every single one of these teams here. All the number of raids completed and raids defenses. You could swap any of these. Like there was razor thin margins between different teams getting these TCs. It was literally just a case of someone finding it through luck in some situations. It was so close.
Yeah, it was honestly so tight. I mean, all these top teams, all these top five especially, they were really, I mean, honorable. I'd have to say, like any team that survived to the end, they really deserve to be there. That they really played their hearts out. I mean, Dobio, they they had an honorable performance, but sadly they drop out at what the 30-minute marker because I mean everyone saw them. They were in that U of death you were talking about.
Mm.
It's not a good place to live.
The
And
horseshoe of doom.
yeah, and you mentioned that all of the teams, it's kind of good when you have teams on the outside because they can fight each other. But all of these teams were perfectly placed so that they would not fight each other and just eliminated Dobio.
Yeah.
And it came down to free TC eliminating Nurik and kind of Crippy getting those defense points and ending up taking that win.
I think we'll check out on wasting time here and then run that up. So yeah, like
Yeah.
complete lack of stats on here, and I don't think that was from lack of trying either, because we did see a lot of them.
A pretty even kill distribution here too. I mean, their team did really 170 kills, not bad at all. Their KD was really good too.
Yeah.
But again, they were on that bandwagon. I mean, they only get one of those raids completed, no successful defenses. Kind of hurts them a little bit if they maybe could have, but it's like you said, it was really close. That if they could have got one or maybe two more TCs, definitely they could have been in contention.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't look like we're going to talk to our winners this week, so I think it's time to take it home.
What a good day. I gotta say, that was exciting up
It
until
really was.
the very end. It was great. And congratulations again to Crippy. They get that first place. Free TC taking that second. Snake with third, getting that bronze medal. But all the teams that came out, they really performed today. All the teams that made it to the end really did a great job, I'd have to say.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, I mean, thank you to everybody that's joined us today. Thank you to the teams for competing. Thank you to Rustoria for hosting. Thank you to Rusty Pot for being our sponsors for the event. Thank you to Llama for being a wonderful co-caster today and for really taking the lead because I was doing far too many things at once. And thank you to the rest of the admin team as well. We will see you again very soon for NA, and EU will be back again next week. Thanks very much, folks. Catch you later.